Let's see if y'all can. I should have put this on a tripod, but oh well. Alright. I can barely hear myself over this fan, so I'm gonna turn that off. You know, it gets harder. It gets harder and harder to do these videos because it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, it's just, it's hard. For lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. So it's hard watching this happen, you know, and the way it's set up, you're almost committable if you say anything, you know, the way this y'all know what I mean, this takeover. So let's do some disclaimers. You know, they have demonetized every video I've done that isn't a short, right? Which I really don't care. I never made no money off of YouTube anyways. I just was excited to see what happened if I could. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going to do my disclaimers so that way maybe it'll save my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm about to show you some stuff that it just continuously makes it undeniable of what's going on, how it's going on, when it's going on, who did it, why, who done it, that whole night, okay? So, it's your girl Wisdom. When I'm wearing this hat, you know, don't believe me, only as far as you're willing to research what I've said. You get what I'm saying? I'm giving a disclaimer. God said I got the right to benefit myself in that fashion and say, this hat right here, it's because I'm a fangirl of a story. You know, I've been watching this story and what's unfolding in our government, our communities, and in the world. I've been watching it, studying it, you know, and just paying attention to it along the way. So yes, all of this is conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean no harm, and my message is always peace, love, and forgiveness. Okay? So, what have I learned? I wonder if y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can. You know, I'm sitting in the back room because giving this message, I don't like giving it like outside and I need four walls around me. You know what I mean? Because uh, it's that heavy, right? So, where do I begin? I got notes. I never follow the notes, but I got notes. All right. I asked God how to explain what I'm about to say. You know, I said, God, how do I don't even know how to begin with all this, right? But he said, tell them how you heard me, right? How I heard them, right? So I'm going to tell you the serendipity that led up to me deciding to decode iPet Goat. Okay, I've heard about iPet Goat. I've seen it, but it was back at the beginning of everything that was going on, and I mean, I didn't see. Now being in the future, I saw a whole lot. You know, I hadn't learned enough to decode what I was seeing. There we go. So back at the beginning of all of this, you know, just I'll say 4 years ago now, I've been following this story. And there was this video called I Pet Goat, right? And basically it seemed like a satire of the day that Trump not Trump, Bush got the news about 9/11, right? So it's like a cartoon kind of thing. So it really didn't, I didn't see it back then, right? But since then, God has made it to where I'm painting. I've been able to, like, I've seen a lot of these things unfold in the future. You know what I mean? Oh, and I haven't been following it. I want y'all to know that. So I haven't been following iPad Go. God taught me stuff. You get what I'm saying? And then I saw it in iPad Go. Okay? It's saying I have absolutely no viewers. So if there's someone out there, let me know. Because that's not typical. And that lets me know, though, that the Soros crew might be doing their job. Because I already know they got the Oculus Infernum open. And I already know that they know, they could see the future and how to stop certain things they watching us all. I already know that. So, maybe that's what's going on right now with me not having any viewers. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. It doesn't even matter. You guys got to hear this. So, or I'm praying it's not because I'm in this corner. I hope I have reception sitting in the corner. I kind of want to get up and get out the corner. I'll rearrange my bedroom. And I just don't know. Okay. Nope. That's not even better. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, so I asked God how to deliver this information, and he said, tell them about the serendipity that got me to recognizing there was a deeper truth here. Okay. So I was on the phone with my middle son, right? My youngest son, right? I said middle and youngest, but he's my middle child, but my youngest son. Okay. So I was on the phone with him, and he was telling me how bad it was getting in the city, right? And so, I'm like listening. Praise God, I saw something happen out there. Yeah, throw up some likes, so that way I know someone's there, and that they could hear me. So I was on the phone with my son Isaiah, and he was telling me about how bad the young people are getting in the city. Right? Let me turn this on. And he was talking about how all the young people are saying, like they taking that I'm a GOAT thing over the top, the greatest of all time is what they think it means, right? So my son just said that to me randomly because I was telling him, son, you know, it's about that time to start coming here. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't leave y'all there. I need you to come here. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm telling him that, that it's getting crazy. And he's like, nah, man, it is getting crazy. There's these kids in Cleveland riding around, robbing people. And he's like, man, it's getting pretty bad, right? But that's when he said about the GOAT, right? And then moved on, didn't think nothing of it. This whole iPad GOAT did not come, like it hadn't come up yet. You get what I'm saying? So I'm showing you how God led me. I'm so glad. Hey, glad you're here. So I the whole looking at iPad GOAT again as being something significant hadn't come up again yet. So then after, like, let me get my notes. So then after that, as you guys know, I recently did a video on how exactly what happened in the feast days and exactly what the feast days said is about to happen in the sky. Right. Remember, I was learning, I was trying my hardest to figure out a date, right? I know we shouldn't be setting dates. I agree, okay? But I was trying to figure out how they changed the date. Let me get y'all this painting. So I got this painting out so that y'all could take a look at it and remember the time when I did this painting. And that's the crazy thing, too, is that in this iPad GOAT 2, my painting that I did of the Antichrist that is up on my barn is in that, in iPad GOAT 2. I'll show you guys it shortly. Hold on. Okay, so let's turn this around. This was something I painted a long time ago, right? And it, like, I went through the, like, charts. Like, I not, you know how when you Google when did they change the date, this ain't the date that comes up. I went through charts looking at, like, moons and, you know, what days certain things were supposed to be on. You know, that's just me. I'm a Gemini. It happens. I go on these nerdy adventures. So 7/24 became 9/24, right? But the world decided, like, everybody made it official on 10/4. And that's where the concept 10/4, you know, how you go, everybody's in agreement, 10/4. You know, like, I hear you coming in loud and clear, 10/4 kind of thing. And and then the next day was this day, right? So technically, it wasn't even 10/4, right? It was 10/14, and the next day was 10/15, right? So I went through those charts, right? But God told me to draw this. Y'all remember, you know, go back in the old videos. God told, when he first had me draw this, he told me that this was a like, it would decode the Hebrew calendar. That's what God told me. It would decode the Hebrew calendar, okay? So they basically stole, like, two I don't know how many years, but it was definitely like intervals of 2. You get what I'm saying? So it was like 2 months. So 9 would really be 9, 10, 11. It would be 11. You get what I'm saying? That kind of thing, right? So it showed how they did it, right? So long story short, though, God told me I had... No, y'all gotta understand. I redid the thing over here based on the Book of Enoch, and I followed the Book of Enoch using, you know, the rainbow as a color for light. No, right? But just like that part over here is red, God told me I had to make this part red, right? So you see how it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And God rested on the seventh day kind of thing, right? But also it continues on and goes backwards too, right? So we got, hold on, let me do it again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, right? So 4 and 10, right, had to be red is what God told me. Like he really made it serious that, like, I had painted this 3 times, and I'm sure go back and look, but I had to, he told me this part had to be red, right? I could do any colors I wanted to on the other ones, but this part in particular had to be red. Okay, but look at this. This was before God taught me about the Book of Enoch and the tunnels of the wind and all that other stuff, right? So God himself had me do this before I learned anything about the Book of Enoch, okay? So then a while later, I learned about the Book of Enoch, right? And I drew this to the specifications of what Enoch was saying. Like, you see, it's upside down right now, though. But over there is the summer months, how it goes. Then it goes to the winter months. Then it actually goes over here, like the way it was set up, because it was like a diamond. Well, anyways, long story short, take a look what's right there. That red area that would still be in the October kind of field for the way it's set up. Okay. So, okay, I'm giving y'all the serendipity. Stay with the story. I hope y'all can. I'm doing this so that you'll see there's no way in the world this could be contrived. God is trying his hardest to tell his people. And that's what I said. It gets so hard doing these videos because I get how he feels. For lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. Even though we trying to tell him, so desperately trying to tell him, okay? So anyways, as you see, we got proof that they changed the date to 1014 or 10-4, which the next day ended up being 10-15. A whole bunch of people revolted because of it too, feeling like they stole a part of their life away. You know what I mean? Just go look at the history of 1582 and whatever, follow the rabbit hole. That's all I could say is, Google what day it happened, which ain't the real day it happened. But it'll take you down the rabbit hole, which will take you to this year in particular. Okay. So, as I said, in the Bible, in the Bible, hold on, let me grab it. Exodus, go with me to Exodus chapter, I think 12. Go with me to Exodus chapter 12. I'm just going to go through this real fast. Now, while I was learning about this, okay, one of the things that when the people revolted, the thing that they said to make the people calm down was that the day of the week won't ever change or something like that along those lines. It was go look it up for yourself, but it was basically like saying if it's the 7th, it'll still be the 7th. Or if it was a Tuesday, it'll still be a Tuesday. You get what I'm saying? So like the people were about to go crazy and break down the leadership and all that kind of stuff. But it was some type of compromise about the day of the week remaining steady. You get what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't change to where that's what made the people calm down. Okay. So God kept making my old phone, right? So remember, I got a new phone, okay? But my old phone, every time I would go to Bible Gateway, it would go straight to chapter 12, Exodus of chapter 12. So, hey, I love you. I love you too, Jamila. Oh, so much, girl. Let me just keep going so I could keep it all together. It's so deep, okay? So, he would make me go to Exodus chapter 12, okay? Now, this time when I went to it, he made me remember what I learned over here, right? So this time when I went to this, he made me remember, like, wait a minute, they said whatever a day of a week is, or that, day of the month or whatever, it won't change. You get what I'm saying? So whatever they did, they said it wouldn't change something else, okay? So I read this, and it says, now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you, okay? Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th day of this month, okay, every man shall take for himself a lamb according to the house of his father, okay? Now, I got to get to the I pet goat part, but just know this, it said on the 10th day. And because of what I learned when I was doing this, I felt like, okay, well, let's just imagine, right? I didn't even say it was true, guys, because remember, I'm taking you through the serendipity of how God led me to seeing some of this stuff, okay? So I said, let's just imagine that the only thing if this was a word problem, the only thing I could hold true is the day of the week, right? You know what I mean? Not the day of the week, please excuse me. The day of the month. On the 10th day of this month, I'm going to hold that true, right? What month? We don't know, but it says of the same month, right? Then when you go down a little bit further, hold on. I should have just kept reading instead of, because I thought I was going to be able to do it quicker. There we go, 14th. There we go. Now, then it says, now you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, right? So then we go back to here. 14th day of the same month, right? And then it says, when everybody shall kill it at twilight, and they gonna put some blood on the doorpost because of it, right? And then it goes on, it says a whole bunch of other things, but then at some point, it flat out says, on the 15th. You get what I'm saying? Like, it flat out says, on the 15th. Now, here we go. This is what you gotta know, right? Is that the 14th of October, Red October, 10-4, but the 14th, right, of October this year, okay, is an eclipse at noon. Okay, there's eclipse, a fire eclipse at noon on October 14th, 2023. Okay, that's something for you guys to know, right? So, in the King James, this isn't a King James, this is a New King James, right? It said to slaughter it at even. It didn't say evening, it said at even. Okay? So that would mean the at that point of the eclipse, right? Because that would be at even, right? So let's go forward. You got to read Exodus 12 for yourself, okay? And it'll make sense if you just look up. I get why they say don't look up, right? It'll make sense if you look at these eclipse days and things. It'll make total sense. Okay, so let's go on to iPet Goat. I wish I had better computer skills, y'all, because I would take y'all through every piece of it. And I saw things, I've never seen anyone really go through and decode it. But I decided I was decoding. Yes, I have. I have seen somebody, Logic Before Authority, because that's how I got there, right? He was decoding it, talking about 9/23 over and over again. That's the date. That's 9/24, but you get what I'm saying. He said he showed all these places in movies and secular TV and things where horrible Freudian slips or parts of the movie, it was like always about destruction coming on 9/23. 9/23, right? Let me calm down. Okay. So so I did see someone do it, and that's what made me stop and look, because it was literally like 9/23, 9/23, 9/23. But here's what I know. The feast days, right? The feast days are on a 40-day schedule. You get what I'm saying? That's what they're on. And everybody's calling for a 40-day fast right now because the feast days have begun, right? Supposedly, which I don't believe is true. I believe they're about to begin on that day, okay? But not that day, 10/14, basically. Because, why do I believe that? Is because 40 days after that day, okay? After the day when they're doing the thing that they said they were going to do in the book, right? After that day. 40 days after is Thanksgiving. That's how me and Jamila met. Because, we both went, oh, there's something sinister going on about Thanksgiving. Like, when you start researching stuff, Thanksgiving looking badder and badder. You know what I mean? And I hope y'all hear me. I see it said it was lagging, but I hope it's back okay. So, guess what Thanksgiving is this year? This year, right? Well, let me back up. Y'all remember the dream about the 26? Remember how I told you every time God tell us something, we'll get real deep with it, but then a year later, we'll find out it was the first thing he ever said. You get what I'm saying? So we got deep. We learned about all of this. You get what I'm saying? But the first thing he ever said was when I asked for a date. I said, God, please give me a date so I could get my family ready. That I'll run after it. I promise. I'll help everyone. I promise. And in that dream, he gave me the number 26. When I woke up, 26 days later was Thanksgiving. You get what I'm saying? So we got real deep with it. But if we just would have been simple with it and saw that 26 days later was Thanksgiving that year, to the point where I looked at Thanksgiving this year, okay? Y'all, talk about rhythmatic. Man, talk about rhythmatic. For all those that know a little bit about gematria or numbers and know that God is the word, he's the living word. Like, you can't lie on God. God will not be mocked. He will not be, you get what I'm saying? So, like, is this Bible from God? Yup. So is the Torah. So anything you say in a thus says the Lord manner is from God. You get what I'm saying? Whew. Hold on, let me calm down, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. I hate that. It's so much to hold on to. Oh, 26. Yes, 26 is Jamila's birthday. And 26 days later was Thanksgiving. Okay. This year's Thanksgiving is 11/23/23. Like, if you know Gematria, if you know, man, if you know how the Bible is really set up, you know what I mean? If you know, man, that's 111. That is jackpot. That is and the next day, okay? So on the 41st day is Black Friday. And if you know anything about Thanksgiving, know this. They will be in the black by Friday. You get what I'm saying? If you know anything about the history of Thanksgiving, you know if I'm telling the truth, they'll be in the black by Friday. Okay? So here we go. I pet goat. Let's get to that part. So I wanted to give y'all all that backstory so that way when you think about the movie, you know what I mean, you'll see there's no way I could have, like, other people are looking at other parts of this movie. But for this to match up things that I've said, and I'm the most Looney Tune of all of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should match, but it does. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to be listening from bed. Okay, praise God. I understand. Praise God. Okay, so the eclipse, right? No, I'm not going to start with the eclipse because that's later in the video. Hold on one second. I'll be out in 1 second. Yes, please. Yes, please. That sounds like a great idea. Okay, so let me hurry up because I want some Takis too. Can't eat them all. I want some Takis. Me and her love Takis. Okay, so here we go. So let me start from the beginning. You know how when the video comes on and they have Bush dancing in front of the video and then he sits down and then holds his head up, right? At that point, you see there's a fire behind him. Now, what have I been telling y'all is coming to the black neighborhood? What have I told y'all about Benjamin Franklin and when he created fire insurance? Like, so flat out, there's a fire happening. There's a shark. There's a obulus type of, y'all know what an obulus really represents. They got the actual thing up there shooting, right? But I thought about it while I was looking at it. I went, this is a cartoon. It's a drawing. Every part of this is deliberate. Remember, my degree is in marketing, right? So I'm looking at this like, hold on, there's no just coincidence. Why does the chalkboard look like they erased something? And what is there now, right? So over top of the burning house is a faint image of Smokey the Bear, right? Isn't like World Health Day one of these days? I mean, World Climate Day or something. Something they did back in 1951. Remember, it was on one of the paintings that God gave me a vision of, right? So anyways, long story short, they had the Smokey the Bear mantra thing erased out behind the erased out behind the burning building. Okay. So then the guy, like that, once at that point, I went, okay, I'm seeing Bush. I'm going to start looking at the background of all of these videos. I mean, of every frame, I was going to look at all of the background, stuff that we would take for granted and not, I wasn't watching the video. I decided I would look at the background. Okay. So here's something that stood out to me. When he held his head up, the house that was on fire, that was a D. So there was a D above the house on fire. There was a D on his head. He was pointing towards Florida, and Florida, Ohio, and Maine. Go look at this as fast as you can, okay? Florida, Ohio, and Maine were illuminated in those frames. You could see they were making sure whatever they showed Bush doing, they showed you Florida, Ohio, and Maine. And then they had like little pegs. You know how it's so above, so opposite below? I told y'all they've been lying to us saying so above, so below. That's not true. That's just some nonsense so that it'll throw you off the trail. The truth is so above, so opposite below. So above, so opposite below. Okay? So they have that algebra on the wall. Hold up now. Hold up now, y'all. I recently told y'all the way they stole our days was because of algebra. That so above, you could take from this as long as you switch the sign over here, so above, so opposite below. They have it on the wall when Bush is doing his little thing. Let me tell you what else is on the wall about the moms and dads. Like, it's blurry in the back. So remember, don't even watch Bush. Just look in the back and freeze frame the backgrounds, right? They had about the transgender bathroom thing is on the wall. Like, you see a man peeing, like it looks like a distorted image, like if you was looking at something in portrait mode, right? But at the same point, if you look at it's a man peeing and then a woman and her child, like the bathroom symbol. You get what I'm saying? Then he looks at some people being hanged. Now, let's go back to that. Do y'all remember when God told me to, this was 4 years ago. You got to go back real far. No, maybe not 4 years ago, because you know how YouTube is. It'll make it look like, so I want to say maybe 2 to 3 years ago, okay? When God told me to type in Google, found hanging. Found hanging. Do y'all remember that? That's when we found out about that boy, the young black boy that they said committed suicide. And I was like, please, ain't no black person committing suicide by hanging. We going out a different way. That's disrespectful to grandpa. We ain't doing that. You get what I'm saying? Like, and hanging in a tree, by the way. He wasn't found hanging in his house. He was found hanging in a tree in a park. You get what I'm saying? That first off, why we ain't about to climb no tree for such things. You get what I'm saying? So at that point, that's what, when God had us look that up, that's part of it. Okay. So y'all might want to look that up again. I haven't looked that up in a long time. So let's definitely look that up again. So then told y'all about the yellow states. I told y'all about the Smokey the Bear in the background. I told y'all about The when the black lady looks at him like he losing it, like they freeze frame for the black lady to look at him, you see looting. So that's the reason why I said that I Pet Goat got a double meaning. Don't get me wrong. They have been conveying their strategy to each other over centuries this way, right? There's no way they could all be in lockstep unless there wasn't a way to convey their strategy. So I Pet Goat might be made by them as they convey their strategy to each other. So that way they'll know, this place is where we're going to hit, or that this is who we're going after. You get what I'm saying? So, but that strategy is one thing, but God is the living word. You get what I'm saying? So through this serendipity, that's how you see God speaks, because they can never, ever, they have to tell the truth. That's the reason why in the last days, scoffers have to come. You get what I'm saying? Because the truth is gonna just emanate from everybody. It's already is. They call them Freudian slips. But that's why they in come scoffers, to try to make you confused, or you know what I mean? Because they told the truth, they had to. It's part of the contract. You get what I'm saying? You could tell it's part of a part of the contract. Okay, so now here's one in particular. I told y'all about the Hananias prayer. I mean, like the one where, Hananias was the dude, I believe is in the book Jeremiah, right? Where he was telling everybody peace and safety is coming to the land. Like, they're going to give you back all your rightful possessions, and they going to, that God is going to make them give the city to you, right? But God killed Hananias for that. You get what I'm saying? Because God said, fire and brimstone is coming to the community, and he is bringing it. That God himself said, don't blame them. I'm doing it. Real talk. So if you really think you my child, you might not want to be there when I do this, is what he said. You get what I'm saying? So Obama in the I Pet Goat, okay? Obama covers his head, his big old head covers the burning house. Then after the burning house, he starts falling over coughing. Now, here we go. On this channel, we told you, when God told me I was gonna die this year, if I didn't start telling about the Gog and Magog part of the story, and the fact that y'all gotta run up out that city, then I was gonna lose my life, is what he said. Y'all go back and look at the videos. That's exactly what happened. Okay, so from that point on, I knew. Hold on. Okay. Give me one more minute, okay? I'll be in there one more minute. At that point, y'all, I knew that they were going to burn down the inner city, because God had already been telling me that. Who is this day? We're talking about a comic book. No reason for them to cancel my videos. We're talking about a story. We're talking about utopia. You get what I'm saying? If a person ain't willing to research what I said, ain't none of it true anyways, okay? But at that point, we learned about Benjamin Franklin and all that they did with the fire insurance, and that when the banks go down, there's only one more place to get some money from, and that's the insurance company, right? And that's what we learned about it, right? And at that point, we was looking to see maybe it was going to be in Philly. We wasn't sure. But I'm going to tell y'all this. I Pet Goat made Ohio, Maine, and Florida yellow. And they kept them in the frame every time dude was twitching, okay? And Obama did the cough thing, right? The cough thing right after he got done, his whole head covered up the burning buildings, okay? And then he it went to coughing, and then they show you this horrible winter, and America has fallen type thing is what they show you. You get what I'm saying? But then they show you like a figure that looks like Muhammad or something, or Osama bin Laden or something. I don't know who this guy is, but you know that he's Muslim, okay? And right above him is an eclipse, okay? But not just any eclipse. Go to Sky Tonight. Look at the October 14th eclipse at noon. And it looks just like that eclipse. It looks just like it. The way it moves across is just like that. Like, it was almost like the I Pet Goat people 11 years ago decided to put that image of that particular eclipse, and the way it looks is as if they copied and pasted it. You know what I mean? Because that eclipse looks, I can't explain it. You got to go look for yourself. Don't believe me until you go look. I don't know. But that particular eclipse is on there. Okay. So then the little girl. Okay. So here's something I know. Remember, the way we study the Bible here is we study with the concordance, and we define as many words, if not every single word in a sentence, so that we can get as much understanding of that word. Okay. Well, through serendipity, some kind of way, I found out that in Hebrew, the word hun, Hun, meant sold cheap, right? It means sold cheap, okay? And so, remember, she dropped the apple, okay? She dropped the apple, right? It rolled through the honey, sold cheap, right? Because I know that's what honey means, sold cheap. And I think there's some holiday coming up about honey on one of these days, Go look it up. Like, there's some type of holiday about honey coming up, right? But the word hun means sold cheap, okay? Then the apple rolls over, and it hits a man's shoe with some, like, a coin up under it. Then it cracks open and becomes a lotus flower, right? Like some type of lotus flower. But that's not the thing that was interesting, okay? The thing that was interesting is, and Rozzy pointed this out. She walked in right while I was watching it, and she pointed this out. And I said, "Oh, praise God for little babies." You know what I mean? Because she saw behind she saw behind it, if that makes sense. So anyways, at the edge of there's a 7 or a L, I don't know, some type of C or a O, I don't know. But right at the edge of it, there's an X, right? And 3 slashes. And, her trying to, like, kind of relate with me, because, she's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm decoding this video." And, I'm like, "There's stuff in the background." And then she said, "You see those X's?" You know what I mean? And I was like, "What X's?" And then we went back to it. Why did it look like the number 23 was sitting right there, right on the edge of, like, go back and look. I don't know. Maybe it looked like a Roman numeral number. You know what I mean? But it was right on the edge of when the apple rolled. It went hit the shoe and then rolled back into place, right? And it looked like almost like the word lockdown at first. But then there was a Roman numeral scratched into the ground next to it, as if it was scuff marks on someone's shoe. Okay, so go back and go look at that. It looked like the number 23. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, and let me back up. Remember, she was surrounded by 12 faceless figures, right? Well, one of them had an X and an eclipse on his face. Go look. Yeah, it had an X at the mouth part, and the eye part, it looked like a circle, but if you stop and look at it, you see that ain't a circle. That's an eclipse. Okay? So check that part out as well. Let's see what else. most important, y'all. Oh my God, I just hate this about it. Okay. So as it's going on, right? Remember, I don't want to say it, but this is exactly what God told me. So I'm going to tell you. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it's hard. From a person that smokes, it's hard. Yeah, I don't care. Cancel me because I wasn't here for you anyways. I was here for the people, for the real people that's living this real life, trying hard not to mess it up. Okay, so I don't care. Cancel me. But God told me, how long ago was that, y'all? I don't even remember. That these new greenery, there we go, greenery fields are hiding mass places. And that's why the greenery was smelling like burnt hair. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, let's keep it real. All right, come on, I ain't never lied. Let's do it. But that, y'all remember, and I was heartbroken about it, like, no, not the greenery. But the truth is, that's what God told me back then, is that the greenery, that this new, from these stores, places, that it was hiding fields of mass. So therefore, that's why it smelled like burnt hair. Like that movie, How High, I think, where they were smoking their friend or something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So anyways, I reported on that here on this channel. The next day, y'all. No. The next day. Not before. Not a week later. No, the next day. Dude made his surprise drop of burnt hair cologne, to the point where I'm in the middle of trying to research what does, I want to know, does mass burial type places smell like burnt hair? You know what I mean? I was researching it, and then now it's the next day. You couldn't research it anymore because Elon Musk came out with his burnt hair cologne or whatever. Okay, we get it. We get it. At this point, we are really in a trap. And there ain't nothing any of us could do except for flee the cities. You know what I mean? There's nothing else we can do. So I don't see why they had to, like I'm a crazy girl, right? Ain't I a crazy girl? So, it just makes me mad that the next day, go back and watch the video. If there's anybody here that remembers when we reported on that, and the next day dude came I was on my video going like this. Look, I was on my video like, the next day, for real, made it to where we can't even look it up no more the next day. At that point, I went, okay, good looking out, though. Y'all, they covering their tracks, I guess. You know what I mean? It's cool. Keep wisdom hidden. I'm down with it. I appreciate it. Tell you the truth, hey. But I'm going to tell the truth, flat out. So, anyways, back to the next part. So, in the iPad Go, which was done 11 years ago, the woman is holding her dead child while she is holding perfume with a nuke, like you could tell the nuke is behind it, but when you look at it for the frame, it looks like it's coming out of it. You get what I'm saying? But she's holding her dead child. Either way it go, you ain't gonna be holding no perfume bottle in that moment. You get what I'm saying? Then they do a up close on the child, okay? And lo and behold, what comes crawling across the baby's face? It looks like a beetle, but it got the symbol of that tick I tortured on it. Y'all know, there ain't no way I could set that up. Y'all know I was getting mad about these ticks. A few of the other YouTubers, what's that one boy? I feel bad for him because you could tell he was giving it all up and running to the country because he believed God. Then got to the country and said, what's up with these ticks? You could tell he ready to leave the country because of the ticks. I'm just saying. And I stopped doing most of what I was doing with my land because of the ticks. But praise God, I haven't stopped anymore because God sent Job. Thank God for Job. But anyways, so yeah, lo and behold, isn't that rather personal? You get what I'm saying? The fact that I literally was on this camera telling y'all about these ticks, torturing them, telling you that, this reminds me of the time of Thanksgiving when they, put smallpox and, they infected blankets and they put bugs in the, they did all this sabotagey stuff to people back during the time of the first Thanksgiving. You get what I'm saying? And I was saying that, about these ticks out here in the country. So on the video, like I said, it's a beetle that goes across the boy's face. Yeah, that's true. But that symbol that's on the beetle is the same symbol that is on that tick I was torturing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to go. But the symbol on that beetle, even though it was a beetle, the symbol on that beetle is the same symbol that was on the tick I was torturing. Okay, so there's, yeah, that said a lot. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I just want you guys to know 10:14, exactly what happened in the Bible is happening just by the words of what the Bible said. At even on that you capture the lamb, which could be, y'all remember now all of a sudden it could be a goat, right? We didn't before, it wasn't allowed to be a goat. Now it could be a goat. Okay, you capture the lamb at on the 10th, you keep it until the 14th, and then everybody slaughters it at twilight, at even. That's what the book said, right? That's what the book said. At even on the 14th, and then on the 15th, you begin the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Basically, you start like not having leaven around or something. So I just want to say, look up, right? That's the number one thing. Look up. Compare notes. Everybody didn't tell us the truth, but the truth is everybody didn't lie to us either. You know what I'm saying? So that's the truth. Everybody didn't tell us the truth, but the truth is everybody didn't lie to us either. We just got to have a mind to find out what God really want. And do you really think God want like us to keep acting with this cognitive dissonance? I would say that, if you're not going to make a run for it, that's cool. Hey, I'm not telling you to, but maybe a little vacation that day if you're in those cities. You know what I mean? Maybe pull a Home Alone moment and just go to the country for that day, 10/4, 10/15, and then do it again on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? But do something. You know what I mean? Please do something. It would be an honor. It would honor God. Because that literally, I don't know where I read it. I'll go find it and tell y'all soon. I believe it's in either Jeremiah, Isaiah, or I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to go back and find it though. But God literally said, if they were my people, they wouldn't be there. That's what he said. Like, it's somewhere around the part of it, for lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. But he also said, if they were mine, they won't be there that day. So that's another reason why he said I could stop trying so hard. Like, I felt like a bleeding heart, ruining reputations, ruining, all these different things, trying to tell these people what God was saying. But then God literally, like, kind of, once I moved here, said, if they were my people, they go. You did, and you the dumbest. So that's all I got to say. I love you guys, and I hope that this will at least make you open your eyes and do something. Do something. All right, we love you, and we'll talk to you soon. It's right there. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Look, well, that's okay. That hair is real. That hair is real. You look so cute.
I have all kinds of school clothes.
Yes, you do. School's coming up.
And they're over here. I got
And we're gonna
jocks.
I'm not about to show your school clothes off, kid. That's cute. It is cute though. Okay, so we'll talk to you guys soon, and I'm gonna go hang out with the little kid here. But keep your eyes open, and if you can leave the city those days, go on a vacation. Exhibit your freedom. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.